My first incarceration took me back to the age of 20, and at the age of 25, prior to the birth of my first child, my only child, I got a 25-year sentence, and there was no way I could reconcile the person that I saw myself as with the person who was sitting a 25-year incarceration. So, and because I am not the most brave or courageous person, I didn't know how to do that kind of time. So I chose not to do the time. I chose to educate, and my mind stayed free, and my processes kept evolving, and my incarceration became less of a punishment than more of an opportunity to sharpen some skills and get where I needed to be. Because when they gave me a chance to do something and get out again, God willing, I made it out, and I wasn't going to waste the opportunity. And I got a visit, and in the visit that I usually would see my son and his mother, and he asked me, my son was just sitting there playing, and he looked up at me and he asked me, when you get out, are you going to come play with me? And I knew that there was not going to be a time where, by the time I got out, he was done playing. And it hit me in such a way that I knew that in no other way could I fail him. So I did everything I could throughout my incarceration. I wrote my son weekly, then monthly, and then when we got old enough, we talked at least once a month, wrote him every day for a long time, and then again that dropped off because we could talk more, and we just developed a relationship, and it helped change me as a human being because it was so much not about me anymore. And I was able to and if there's any benefit for having the opportunity to not have to worry about staples, food, shelter, I had a chance to get my head on straight and really cement the values that I had tried to adopt, but maybe it did not have model for me, and seek models if it's through books or just learning the things and the values that I wanted to incorporate in my life, and doing what I needed to do to work towards that. There are things that I choose to do. Not that I have to do, but the one thing that I choose to do is I do not refer to myself as the offender or anything negative, because if a person's self-talk is negative, then his processes are going to be negative and rooted in negative. So I never speak down on myself. Even when I was incarcerated, I had staff members say, well, you think you're above the place. Well, actually I do. Yeah, and I felt that way, and I walked a certain way. I kept my head held high because I was dignified in myself, and so dignity is not something someone gives you. Honor is not something someone gives you. Those are gifts you give yourself, and I choose to gift myself every day with honor and dignity. So when I started to see myself in the light that I wanted to see myself in, it was hard to do anything other than move towards that. Every day I was incarcerated, I did something to prepare for my freedom. Otherwise, I felt like I was losing. Even if I was in a hole, I'd walk back and forth and have conversations with myself and go through my self-talk and process some stuff. I relived my entire life through my incarceration, and I challenged every decision that I remember making. We've agreed as a society, whether or not we chose to annex this Constitution or all these things into our own personal philosophy, society has determined that the response to crime is incarceration. And I would challenge decision makers to just look at the data, look at the impact on communities across the country, look at models in other civilizations, other countries today, and maybe challenge the notion that sending a man to a cage to become a better citizen is akin to sending a guy to law school to become a plumber.